Call the meeting to order. I welcome everyone to the Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners meeting. I would note that the commissioners are all present except for President Lynch, Commissioner Engel. And I would note that the board did meet in executive session to discuss matters permitted by law to include litigation, real estate, personnel matters, bond settlements, and related activities. And all discussions were informal and not deliberative. We'll lead off with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence, and I would ask Commissioner Sanderson to lead us, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
Liberty and justice for all.
All right. We'll start off with petitions, complaints, suggestions from citizens. Is there anyone who would like to address the board? If so, please come forward, state your name, address, and keep it to 3 minutes, please. Is there anyone? Nate?
I would. Is this meeting live or is it only Zoom?
It is live.
Oh, because I would have came down there. You guys will be there for a little while, right?
Sure. 3 minutes. You can do it. I mean, can you do it over Zoom?
I could. Are you able to see me?
Yeah.
No, your camera's not on.
There
Okay.
you go.
There we go. My name is Ed Mashis, and I'm addressing about the traffic light
Your
at the
address,
corner.
please, sir?
Pardon?
Your address, please?
3906 Woodvale Road. I'm in Frank Lynch's. Most of my house is in Frank's district. My garage is in Lower Paxton.
Okay.
But right now I'm in my dining room, so I think I'm in the township.
Where can I find that?
So, is it okay to start?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So I'm discussing about the traffic signal at the corner of 39th Street and Walnut, basically the Dairy Queen. And I've been in contact with, I think it's Officer Aponte. I sent him a video that I took that the traffic light at strange times of the day, usually in the morning, lasts for 3 seconds. When I say 3 seconds, I have a video. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I took a video. This is kind of, I don't know if you can see that. Well, you probably won't be able to see it, but you just count with me. If you ever played flag football, 1001, 1002, 1003, bada bing, bada boom. It's a red light again. And that guy in the Kia just went through the red light that everybody does. So I shared this with the officer, the safety officer, who researched it, whatnot, and found out that there's some company in Kansas City that does information on this. They, I guess, monitor it through some sort of software. And let me ask you this. Does anyone know what I'm talking about, where you've been at that red light at the Dairy Queen, and it's been 3 seconds?
Yes.
Okay. So whoever can solve this, you will be the mayor, because I've posted this video and it's gone viral here in the township. Everybody's like excited about it. So at any rate, Officer Pawnee basically said that the software company said, well, it's really not their call. You have to talk to PennDOT. He couldn't find a contact at PennDOT. I contacted the Honorable Chad Saylor, County Commissioner, who got on the job, and he found somebody at PennDOT to discuss the matter. And PennDOT said it's the township's call. So it's kind of one of those, tail chase, dog chasing the tail and all that kind of stuff. So basically, there is a company that monitors these things. And here's the other thing that's irritating. And I know that there's cameras and sensors and whatnot. When you're at that light on 39, it's not like there's anybody waiting on, 22 there. It's not like it sees there's nobody there. So you get the 3 seconds. You're lucky if you could get your foot off the brake onto the accelerator, and then it flips. And it's not like it's trying to let people in on the other road. The other thing is, and I am retired, so I don't have a whole lot to do. I have studied the situation, and it's at weird times. I can't, it's usually in the morning, but it's not always in the morning. So it has a mind of its own, and I can actually forward the video if, Frank, I'm sure you have your email is probably up there somewhere on the township website. I see Tom Pine there. I can be happy to forward the video. I forwarded it to Chad Saylor. I forwarded it to Officer Apani, and all that stuff. And maybe some of you guys have seen it if you monitor the various Friends of Susquehanna Township, different sites and stuff like that. So are you guys aware of this? Like, does anyone want to take the bull by the horns and figure out how to get that changed so that it's a more normal?
So I can provide a brief response if
Yes.
the board would like.
Yes, sir.
Just to address a few of your points, sir. The township is responsible for all traffic signals within our municipal boundary, even those that are on state roads. So apologies for any miscommunication there. I can understand where it may have came from. I think it's oftentimes the assumption, but we are the permit holders. So any changes in signal timing or modifications would be handled by us. We contract with a company called Atlantic Transportation Systems, Transit Systems, ATS, and I will notify them and have them get out there and take a look at the signal timing and verify it's operating correctly. And if not, they can make adjustments in the field to correct that. It's not to say that in all circumstances and conditions, a 3-second signal time or a short duration signal is not appropriate or is not functioning correctly, but it certainly might be off. Sometimes the mechanism breaks and needs to be replaced or needs some maintenance, whatever it may be. So we'll look into it right away.
Okay, great. I can't really see, who was that talking?
As Dave Brabolka, I'm the township manager, and I can.
Oh, okay. All right, gotcha. Thank you.
My email's on the website. I can get your information if you're able to type it in the chat, and I'll follow up.
Well, I'm on I'm on a Facebook portal, and of course they've decided that they don't want to support these anymore. Let's see. And did I just take over your screen?
Yes.
This happened in church. This happened in church. What do you want me to put in there? Let's see if I can get out of here.
There should be a chat button at the bottom of your screen. You can
it is. This is. Sorry. Do you want to?
Can I make a suggestion, sir?
Yeah, go ahead. All right.
Okay.
Because I'm on a Facebook thing and it's
Right.
not like a normal laptop.
To keep the meeting moving here, can you just contact the township and ask to speak to the township manager, and we can exchange your information now?
Yeah, township manager, that would be good.
Yep.
I have another issue if I could bring it up, but if you're only allowed one at a meeting, I can come next month.
Go ahead.
I don't want to hog people's time.
I'll give you 1 minute. How about that? You got a minute?
All right, I got a minute.
Go.
Woodvale Road, I talked about this a couple of years ago. I still don't believe a top coat was ever put on it, and all due respect to the guy who said that yes, it was top coated, because when the development was built, because all of the sewer grates are like an inch, maybe almost an inch above the blacktop, which I don't think they would put a top coat. So I would like them to take a look at Woodvale from Elmerton I guess, and eventually it does become Lower Paxton. I'd like them to take a second look at that and appreciate it, because I feel the road is gray, it should be black, and all the homes here have put a lot of work into making their homes beautiful. Okay, so someone can look into that, but I will get on with the township manager. I don't want to take up too much time, and I'll send you the video and we can discuss it further. But thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Outstanding. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else to come before this board at this time? Mr. Handles, it's a great timing.
Perfect time.
Yes.
Hello. Hello, everyone. First, I would like to say thank you for all you continue to do for our community and supporting all the events that we do.
Let me take 1 second. If you can introduce yourself, your name and address, and then go from there, please.
Chris Franklin. My address in the township will be 2327 Highland Avenue. You know, proud graduate of Susquehanna Township. This has been my community. My father was a police officer in this community for years. My grandfather was the first African American postman in Susquehanna Township and in this community. Like I said, I want to just thank the commissioners for backing a lot of things that we do on a regular basis, whether it's be us renovating the parks in the township or giving away turkeys to needy families. The township has always at our backs and been a great partnership. So I first want to say thank you. And then to the matter at hand, I want to invite everyone to our free community day. It's next Saturday, it's Edgemont Day. It's a celebration of the Edgemont community, old and new. It's a chance to bridge the gap between the generations of people who lived there in the past and live there now. And it's just a day that we want to continue every single year where people can come back and really enjoy the rich history that community that I grew up in provides. So I wanted to come and extend. I actually flew in from Grenada this morning, so it's perfect timing to be able to come here in front of you all personally. It's one thing to send an email, but I definitely would like to come and extend that. It's a day where my foundation will provide free food and drinks, myself and my foundation, free food and drinks, bouncy houses, face painting, free haircuts, all kinds of games, horseback riding, DJ and music. And then we'll also be honoring one of our oldest members. We call her the Queen of Edgemont. She just turned 104 years old a couple of weeks ago, and we'll be giving her an award. Just want to extend that invitation. I'm also excited about my organization, the Harlem Globetrotters. We actually have a television show that comes on every Saturday on NBC called Pay It Forward, where we go around the world, all over the globe, doing great things in the community and partner with different organizations. 1 million viewers every single week, and we were up for an Emmy Award last year. And this year they're doing an episode, or this new season they're doing an episode on me and my foundation, and they'll be there that day filming, and there will be some Globetrotters in town, a lot of different people. So I definitely want to come and extend an invite to all of you. And again, I want to say thank you for all you continue to do in this community.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chris, I'm planning to be there, have a table. I want to meet the residents as their commissioner. I'll be working with Vicky Hill as well. We're going to do a nonpartisan voter registration, so I'm looking forward to it, and maybe I can get a haircut.
That sounds great. Well, we got a barber for you, and looking forward to having you there, of course.
I know it's on Chief's radar already because he's been speaking about it a lot.
Yeah, the chief has been helping out so much, so that's really been great. And the township, all the way around the board, has just been wonderful and continues to be wonderful for all our ventures. So I just want to say thank you.
Great job to you guys who are doing that. Appreciate everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good to see you.
All right, is there anyone else to come before this board this evening? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to approve the minutes for the July 27th, 2023.
Mr. President, I'll move to approve the minutes from July 27th meeting.
Second.
Okay. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries. Okay. That was for the workshop meeting. We'll move on to, let me see, reports of committee. There was nothing for recognition and presentation, so we'll move to reports of committee. Building and grounds.
No report.
Okay. We'll go budget and finance. Mr. Singh.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We do have a Budget and Finance Committee meeting scheduled next week, late afternoon, and thus begins the budget season. And it's going to be many sleepless nights and many pots of coffee and all sorts of wild, crazy stuff. So I don't know of any particular reason we can't deliver a budget as we always have in the past. Just requires getting together and putting our best thoughts forward.
Very good.
Mr. Manager, do you have any extra thoughts on that?
No, sir.
All right, very good, thank you.
Outstanding. We'll move to my favorite, Public Works. For the July report, street sweeping continues throughout the township. They're repairing inlets, and there's been mill patching and sealing being done on numerous roads throughout the township. They replaced the storm pipe on, is that Doan Road?
Dean Road.
Dean Road, that's spelled Dean, oh God. Okay, and then they've been investigating the sinkhole on 36th Street. And that ends my report. We'll now move on to health and sanitation.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Just one brief announcement. The yard waste pickup for the month of August will take place Saturday, the 19th. And just looking forward a bit, there will be 2 yard waste pickups in September, one early on, so it'll be the 1st and 3rd Saturdays of September. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I ask those, maybe Township Manager, it made me think, the status of the Penn waste, we were in discussions about the recycling, or not recycling, the trash pickup being automated, and really haven't heard anything more about that.
Right, approximately a month ago, I asked Joel Washock with Penn Waste to provide a status update on that. It's really just been kind of stagnant for now. They just got a big contract in Lower Paxton Township, so they've been pretty busy with administering and ramping up that program. I don't anticipate that coming before the board before the end of this year, so it seems like it's, at least right now, on ice.
Slow track.
It's good. Okay. Admin personnel, I have no report. Now move on to police.
No report, sir.
Okay. Fire and EMS.
No report.
Very good. Planning and zoning.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
The Planning Commission meeting scheduled for the 24th of July was canceled. But there was a zoning hearing board meeting on the 2nd of August. There were 2 items before the zoning hearing board. The first was the Pennsylvania Game Commission at 2001 Elmerton Avenue, which is in the 7th Ward. They were proposing an expansion of their building, which is located in a conservation zone. And since the change that we made in the definition of that, or in the zoning requirements, it's no longer a conforming use. So they had to ask for a special exception to expand that non-conforming use. And also they needed variances, including expanding it by more than 25%. They were going to exceed the maximum height of 30 feet, to exceed the maximum 30% lot coverage, and to reduce the required number of parking spaces from what would have been required. They're actually adding parking spaces, but the total is going to be below what the zoning would require for that size of building. The special exception was granted and all variances were approved, subject to some conditions. One of them was creation of a designated overflow parking lot in grass areas in case the parking would not be adequate at some point. And an installation of a crosswalk on Gene Cook Way, which is the entrance drive into there, because the walkway that was built by the Enclave along Elmerton to get to Veterans Park crosses that road, and they wanted a crosswalk installed. The second thing was a Brian Carreria of 1709 Fox Hunt Lane, which is in the 8th Ward up in Mountaindale. They were appealing our zoning administrator's determination that the property was being used as a multifamily dwelling and also running an illegal business, a business that would be illegal in the R1 zone. In the alternate, they said, well, if you can't overturn that decision, then we want to request variances to allow us to do this. A number of neighborhood residents attended, and they had concerns about the use of the property as a business and also multifamily dwelling. Both of the appeals were denied, and the variances were both also denied. And that concludes my report.
Great report. Thank you so much. We'll now move on to School Board, Commissioner Wings.
Thank you. The next meeting for the school board will take place on August 21st at 7:00 p.m. at the Administration Building at 2579 Interstate Drive. That concludes my report.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to the Authority.
Mr. Chairman, no report. Thank you.
Thank you. Shade Tree, Commissioner Roberger.
No report, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Communications, Commissioner Williams.
No report, thank you.
Human Relations.
Mr. Vice President, just very briefly, the commission had a table of the Central PA Pride Festival on July 29th, and I was just going to ask David if there's anything from there. I was only there for a short while, if you had anything to add or to report from our table that day.
Thank you, Commissioner. Nothing substantive. As you indicated, we had a table at the Pride Fest. The purpose of our presence there was to educate the community about the Commission's existence and what their charge are. I believe that was successful. We had conversations with a number of residents and non-residents throughout the day to provide them a little more information on the Human Relations Commission. I just want to thank the members of the Human Relations Commission who joined us during that day, including Commissioners Hisro and Failona. It was much appreciated, and I think the community was happy to have us there. Thank you.
Okay. And Parks and Recreation, sir.
The Recreation Advisory Committee met on the 18th, but we actually did a tour of some of our parks, including the proposed project on the Whitewood Hills property. And the next meeting will be next Tuesday, the 15th. We also underway with the two master plan projects, one for Wedgwood and the other one is for the bike bed Greenway. And I'd like to announce that we have scheduled a community bike ride and walk on September 9th with a rain date of September 13th. That'll be all.
Thank you very much. Okay, where are we at here? We're going to go to bids and agreements. We'll ask the Public Works Director to come forward, please. This is for the authorization to purchase the Bandit wood chipper.
Provided with the agenda is a quote from Stevenson Equipment to purchase a Bandit Intimidator 15 XPC towable drum and fed wood chipper for the Public Works Department. The township was awarded a recycling grant from the Department of Environmental Protection for 90% of total cost of the equipment. The approval is conditional on the signing of the grant agreement with DEP. The vendor is on state contract through the CoStars program. The township's total match commitment is 10% of the total cost, which is $6,696.80.
Is there we're looking for a motion on this then, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments? No comments, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We're moving to action of ordinance resolution, subdivision, land development. Township manager, you want to take over this one?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. So the first item is for the board to consider a resolution authorizing the president and secretary to execute a settlement agreement with Custer Homes LLC to resolve a permit fee dispute for a property located at 1820 Mountain View Road. With your agenda is a copy of that resolution as well as an agreement. The proposed settlement has been agreed to in principle by Mr. Custer of Custer Homes. We would recommend approval of the same with the condition that Mr. Custer also countersign that settlement agreement.
Motion to adopt.
And I'll second that motion, emphasizing the condition that he accept the agreement as written.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you. We'll now move on to staff reports, please. Mr. Manager, Township Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. My report is in your packet. In it, you'll find a communication from the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board advising the township of a liquor license transfer application. It's actually really a change of ownership because the premises, the licensed premises is not changing, 4418 Oakhurst Boulevard. No action required of the board. It is just for informational purposes. Relative to a communication from residents you had heard at a previous meeting, staff met on site with the township engineer on Wednesday, August 2nd to get to view some concerns expressed for Montrose Street truck traffic, excuse me. HRG, the township engineer, is going to be collecting traffic data over the next couple of weeks to be able to identify the extent of the problem and come up with some alternative proposals for the board to consider at a forthcoming meeting. We've already communicated that to those residents who had expressed some concerns, and they're appreciative of any proposed or any potential resolution to some of those concerns. So more to come on that. Just looking through, I believe that is all that I'd like to verbally report on. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Seeing none, we'll move on to public safety. I noticed that the chief isn't here, or police. Anything from the fire? Okay, no report. Community economic development.
Thank you. I just wanted to, you have my report in your packets. If you have any questions on that, I'm happy to answer that. I did want to make note that we will be, we have over the past year worked really hard to get septic pumping reports as required by the state from residents of the township. We are still struggling to get some, so violation notices will be going out on those. So just so you're aware, if you get any phone calls on it, we have sent multiple letters and are still struggling to get compliance. So.
Very good. Anything from the Public Works Department, sir? No report. All right. Engineering?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Sure.
Two quick items. We had pre-construction meetings for the Edgemont Park 88 project as well as the 2023 paving project. Both will be getting kicked off later this month. The bulk of the paving project will occur in September and is anticipated to be final by the end of September. So just heads up.
And may I just ask, are we on schedule with the Patrick Church Road?
Yeah. As of right now, the detour is still set to terminate on the 25th, as previously mentioned. So, barring any unexpected delays, we'll be on that schedule.
Okay. Someone took a aerial photo and had it posted.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Okay.
Yeah. See the new road going in. Anything from the law? Okay, nothing. Okay. Parks and Recreation, nothing.
Real quick, you have my report in your packet. I did want to highlight that our summer day camp program was complete on the 3rd of this month. We had great participation this year. Every week, with the exception of 3, we were over our max number. So we had a really strong season overall, and the staff and did a phenomenal job throughout that 7-week period. Our summer playground program, which historically has ended at the same time, is still going on. It will go on until next week, until the 18th, and that's still running 5 days a week. We did extend those hours slightly after the day camp completed, so that's currently going from 8:30 to 1. And the kids are continuing to have a good time out of that, and staff's doing a good job finishing up the summer with them as well, so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Anything under old business? I see nothing. We'll move on to new business, consent agenda. Statement of bills paid.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I guess it would be appropriate to move to adopt the statement of bills paid report.
The consent agenda would be taken as a whole unless a commissioner wants to remove an item from it.
Nope.
So what we need to.
You would move to adopt the consent agenda.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the
Consent.
consent decree in a whole second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you. Next up is the public hearing review for the draft of 2024-2028 capital improvement program. Mr. Manager.
So there's going to be a public hearing, you have to suspend the public meeting, open and hold the public hearing, adjourn the public hearing, and reconvene the public meeting.
Okay, so we'll close this meeting at this time. How's that? Okay, and then reopen the meeting?
Yep.
No,
Public hearing.
public hearing, okay. We'll do the public hearing and review for the draft of the 2024-2028 capital improvement program.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I am going to do a quick share screen here. And I have a short presentation. I promise it's brief. First, I want to thank the commissioners and staff for all their work in the development of the draft 2024-2028 capital improvement program. It is the product of many hours of work. It's really a labor of love, and it's one that is absolutely vital to the resiliency of the township and our community. I'm going to talk a little bit about what a capital improvement plan is. Capital Improvement Plan, or CIP as I will abbreviate it, is a 5-year planning tool primarily identifying large-scale capital expenditures across all of the township departments and disciplines, including administration, finance, community and economic development, public safety, which includes both police and fire, transportation, primarily road improvements, but also multimodal transportation investments as well, parks and recreation, building and grounds, public works, information technology, and staffing, which is really typically not a capital expenditure, but as you'll see in the draft plan, we try to include that because it is a significant part of our township budget. What a CIP is not, and I apologize for the size of the font, I thought it would show a little bit better. CIP is not an official authorization for the township to spend money, nor is it any implied commitment for the township to pursue any projects or make any purchases identified within it. It's really just meant to be a planning tool. And it's designed to be fluid, it's designed to adapt as the needs and available resources of the township change and grow. How we define a capital improvement, at least in Susquehanna Township, is the any single unit cost, or any item with a single unit cost, of at least $2,500 and an estimated useful life of 1 year or longer. Typically what you'll find in a CIP exceeds that threshold significantly, but that is the minimum entry fee, if you will. And then, of course, as I mentioned a moment ago, staffing is included because of the high cost of personnel and its overall impact on the township budget. If you couldn't read this, the font, this is really going to be hard. But this is in the draft CIP, and it's with your agenda. It's available on the website and available for public inspection of the township building. This is just a snapshot of expenditures by department. Again, this spans the entire 5-year horizon of the proposed capital improvement plan. So you'll see, if you've got very good eyesight, in the bottom right of this table, the total capital expenditures across all departments for all 5 years of the CIP are $32,339,700. Again, with the caveat that these are fluid. This is just a projection, and priorities and appropriations will change depending on needs and available resources. Some of the highest expenditures, which probably come as no surprise to this body, building and grounds has a total 5-year expenditure of just south of $13 million, largely attributed to the construction of a new Progress fire station. That number right now is really just a shot in the dark, because it's going to be heavily contingent on the design, available funding, and what the needs are that are bore out from the current fire study. Also, public safety and road investments represent the second and third highest expenditure items in the capital improvement plan. Just wanted to touch on, I have some highlights here in the capital improvement plan. Under administration and finance, you'll find a strategic planning item in 2024, which would be to engage a consultant to help the township facilitate that plan and do some long-range visioning. Tree pruning and maintenance, which is a new proposal for a contracted service by the township. We are finding, as many of you know, it increasingly difficult to keep up with the tree growth and some of our street trees that are overhanging sidewalks and roadways. So we are proposing that we make this a capital contract let each year to help get ahead of the curve, address some of the hazard tree situations, and to help create more clearance for emergency response vehicles, fire apparatus, etc. Electric vehicle charging station and vehicle purchase pushed out to 2027, understanding that may be a fluid item depending on what the needs are and resources and concerns are of the township. Under the category of information technology, or IT, the purchase of enterprise resource planning software, which is really just a comprehensive software package that could handle potentially accounting, permitting, parks and recreation, human resource management, citizens service. It's really just ERP is the terminology used for a very broad software solution that can accommodate a number of our needs with one application. Under building and grounds, police station renovation, this is a carry forward from this year. I don't anticipate that we're going to be able to conclude this project. Chief Martin and a team that he's put together have started to work on some conceptual designs, and this is kind of just I use the term facelift of the existing fire station, a simple renovation, nothing major, not like to the extent or magnitude that we did up here. Design and build of the new Progress fire station you'll find in both 2024 and 2025 respectively. There's an appropriation here for replacement of welcome signs, and I'm sure some of you have taken note that our welcome signage throughout the township at our various boundaries is showing signs of old age. So we'd like to propose a program to begin to rehabilitate some of that signage and replace where needed. Under Department of Community and Economic Development, I just highlighted a few of the highlights, but basically Act 537, which is our sewage plan, comprehensive sewage plan. It's a requirement that we have one, and it's in need of an amendment. This would be a township authority expenditure. Neighborhood development program is really, well, I don't know, Betsy, if you have anything you want to say about that, or I could do my best.
Thank you. Best.
Okay. She called my bluff.
Sorry. The neighborhood development program is based off of the comprehensive plan. There's a section there on neighborhood retention and rehabilitation. So it focuses on working with the different neighborhoods to improve property maintenance, but in a more comprehensive way, such as having training programs or, homeowner 101 classes, that type of thing.
And it could also potentially time well with our celebration of the semi-quincentennial the next year. Public safety, I think that you'll see the kind of typical things: replacement of fire apparatus, body worn camera replacements, motor vehicle record management system replacement. But there is something unique here or new here, which is to purchase 2 e-bikes, electronic bikes, for use by the police department, because our demand on patrols for the capital area greenbelt, and as we build some new bike paths and off-street bike paths, is only increasing. It makes sense for the township to consider purchasing some vehicles that can patrol those areas without having to invest in some of the more costly side-by-sides and all-terrain vehicles. Under Public Works, just two things to highlight. The purchase of 2 digital radar display signs. This is something that really, as we start to replace pavement and do road projects and other capital projects out in the community, will be a great asset to us. I think this is another potential for a shared cost with the Township Authority because we can utilize it for capital projects for sanitary sewer and stormwater. The purchase of a JCB Hydra Dig wheeled excavator proposed in 2026. That's kind of a mini excavator, can be used for a myriad of things. It has multiple attachments, and we anticipate it replacing essentially our mini excavator and being able to be applied for a number of areas, and again, perhaps a shared cost as well. Under Park and Recreation, I think the 2 main things I want to highlight, Doug can augment as needed, but trail repair on the capillary greenbelt. I think this is just important to note because it really is the application of the memorandum of understanding between the Capillary Greenbelt Association and the township. We're starting to get requests for capital investments and in a timely manner that allows us appropriate budgeting and planning for those investments. The fence replacement program, which I'm actually going to ask Doug to talk about for just a quick minute.
Thank you. So throughout the time I've been here so far, we have started identifying our fencing at Veterans Park, Edgemont, and everything is aging and wearing, damaged. So this is the start of a process to start going through and replacing it. And one of the things I would like as part of the program too is get rid of the stainless steel, silver looking fencing and replacing it with vinyl coated fencing, either green, it'll be green, which will be more aesthetically pleasing and blend into the park, and then instead of, for lack of a better term, look like prison yard around the park. So so we started identifying those and have that planned out.
Did we have any damage from the recent storm with any fencing?
Not from the recent storm. I can report that the fence around the tennis courts that were damaged in June, they are currently being replaced right now, and it's with the green vinyl fencing as well. So hopefully they'll be done mid next week.
Very good.
And for the Steelers fans on the board, we did consider orange and black fencing, but we're Eagles fans on staff, so we're going to go over it.
What is your evaluation?
You said the Steelers this year, I think.
If they were my colors, people wouldn't drive their cars into them because they'd see that color much more than the green.
That's a fair point. I don't know. I might swerve that. And just transportation improvements highlighted, and we do have to take a deeper look at this. Alex and his team at HRG got back to us with some preliminary cost estimates for our planned road projects, and it just kind of speaks to the adage, never ask an engineer to give you estimates on things. But we're probably going to be paring that down a little bit when the Budget and Finance Committee meets next week, and Alex and I are going to connect a little bit early next week as well. But that concludes that portion. Just again, next steps, Budget and Finance Committee has a meeting scheduled for next Wednesday, August 17th at 6 p.m. to review the capital improvement program draft. The Board of Commissioners is going to be asked to consider adoption of the CIP by resolution on August 24th. The following day, it will be made available in its final form for public inspection. There's also going to be a meeting of the Public Works Committee on August 23rd, which will give that committee an opportunity to review any proposed changes to the road projects that come from Alex and I in our meeting, as well as the Budget and Finance Committee next week. So I think it's timed fairly well. That is all that I have, and unless there are any questions from the board or public, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you.
If I may, I want to come in as well, the work that's gone into this. I know for the past year I've spoke several times, at least privately and perhaps even in these meetings, of the need to have a 4 or 5 year projected program, because it gives us a roadmap and gives us something to focus on that we know the direction we're headed. One thing I wanted to add, if it's possible, the highlights presented was excellent. If we can get copies of that, that would be great. It kind of gave me a roadmap of where we're going in a highlighted version, so I'd like to get a copy if I may.
Yeah, yes, sir, I can absolutely provide that. So at this time, Mr. Vice President, if you wanted to entertain any public testimony at the hearing?
Any public comments at this time?
I just have a question.
Yes.
My name is Susan Horak. I live at 1909 New Dawn Drive. And I am thrilled to pieces that the Parks and Recreation are putting fencing around the tennis, quote, pickleball courts. But I was told, and I don't know if this is true or not, are they resurfacing that park for
Yes.
and do you know when?
It should be done after Labor Day.
After Labor Day. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good job, Doug.
Thank
you. He's great. All right, this ends the public hearing and review of the CIP. Okay, and then we'll call the meeting, the Board of Commissioners meeting back in order. Okay. We'll now move on to the commissioner comments. Anyone have commissioner comments at this time? Wow, that's, okay. We'll be looking for a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the motion carries. Thank you. Have a good night.